Former NBA player Wally Szczerbiak called Halliburton a
wannabe all-star, let me keep it that way.
And Tim Hardaway Sr. said,
I want to go fuck up Halliburton. I want to go fuck him up.
At the 2024 Olympics.
Why do everybody just hate on this man for no reason? He don't say the wrong things in the media. He don't call nobody out. He don't say, oh, I'm the best player in the league. He just hoop. I feel like he's probably the best pure point guard in today's game. Yo, what it is, what it ain't, YouTube. This your boy MJT coming at you with another banger video, man. Let's get it, let's go. Yes sir, yes sir. How y'all been doing out there, man? You know I just been chilling. And yes sir, man, this finals it's been kind of exciting. I ain't gonna lie. Last game was pretty exciting for the Indiana Pacers. They went up 2-1. Halliburton finally decided to join the party and be aggressive. And they win games when he be aggressive. So I think the record is 33-4 when he scores 20 and 10 in a game. That means that the team goes as you go. You cannot take 5 shots, 6 shots, 7 shots and expect to win the game, especially against the OKC Thunder. You gotta be aggressive. You gotta have at least like 15 shots. 15. You gotta have 20 and 10. You got to. Siakam gotta have at least 20 points. Benedict Mathurin have to have at least like 10 to 15 points off the bench. Like, y'all have to show up if y'all want to win this finals. So yeah, man, we finna get into this video, man. Shout out to Nonstop for this video, man. Hope you like, comment, and subscribe. We finna react to they called him overrated, then he became a superstar. Now I don't know about him being a superstar just yet, because he has to be more consistent for me. Even though he's the best player on this team, I feel like it's still some room for improvement before he become a superstar. So let's get to the video, man.
Halliburton was cut from an AAU team. His high school coach called him the worst freshman he'd ever coached.
That's crazy.
Was just a 3-star recruit who barely got any college offers. And after he got drafted by the Kings in 2020, he got traded midway through his second season. Former NBA player Wally Szczerbiak called Halliburton a
Wannabe all-star, let me keep it that way.
And Tim Hardaway Sr. said,
I want to go fuck up Halliburton. I want to go fuck him up.
At the 2024 Olympics.
Why do everybody just hate on this man for no reason? He don't say the wrong things in the media. He don't call nobody out. He don't say, oh, I'm the best player in the league. He just hoop. I feel like he's probably the best pure point guard in today's game. And what I mean by that is pass first, not no scoring first point guard like you see Brunson and Ja Morant and Steph Curry. They are score first point guards. Tyrese Halliburton is like an old school point guard. Pass first, I can get my buckets later type point guard. I love that type point guard. You don't find them nowadays.
Halliburton was glued to the bench.
It's all about
playing
scoring.
Just 26 total minutes and not even suiting up for 3 games. All his life, Tyrese has been undervalued and underappreciated. And then the worst insult of all came in 2025 when his fellow NBA players named him the most overrated player in the league. An anonymous poll by The Athletic. But Tyrese Halliburton is anything but overrated, and he made sure everyone knows it with some of the most clutch performances in playoff history. In the 2025 season, Halliburton has shot 12 of 14 on shots to tie or go ahead in the final 2 minutes, and has established.
That is the most craziest stat that I ever heard. You 12 of 14 when it comes to go ahead shots or to tie the game. How many players in history ever did that? This man is on a generational type run in these playoffs when it comes to being clutch. Shout out to Halliburton, man.
Himself as one of the coldest players in the league when the game is on the line, with the bonus points for his choke celebration, which was a shout out to Reggie Miller. This is the story of being underrated and achieving dreams against all odds. This is the Tyrese Halliburton story, and how one skinny kid from Wisconsin became one of the best leaders and most clutch players in the NBA. Tyrese Halliburton was born on Leap Day, February 29th, 2000 in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. His father
And he was born on Leap Day? Crazy.
Father John was a middle school coach for a girls' basketball team, and he couldn't leave for work unless he took Tyrese with him. He was 3 years old and was too young to play, but he wouldn't let me tie my shoes and leave. I couldn't go without him. Tyrese was obsessed with basketball, always playing with his dad and older brothers. Eventually, he got involved in youth leagues and AAU ball, where he played with Tyler Hero for a team coached by Chris Hero, Tyler's dad. But one day, Hero Sr. called up Tyrese's parents and told them that their son wasn't good enough and didn't have a future with the program. They never said that I was cut, but my parents told me that it was essentially like, he can come if he wants to, which, in a way, was even worse. During one of his first practices with a new AAU team, his coaches realized his jumper began well below his waist, a form that stemmed back from when he was a little kid and didn't have the strength to launch the ball with proper technique. His new coach, Brian Jonikin, tried tinkering with his unique shot angle by using his 3-year-old grandson as a defender. Jonikin asked the boy to hold out his hand while Halliburton shot, and Halliburton's release was so low that the preschooler blocked it, with everyone in the gym laughing. Tyrese left the practice in tears. But because he was so in love with basketball and had a strong work ethic, he was there the next day trying to fix his shot. 1 year later, Hallie was a high school freshman and late for practice. His coach, Frank Shade, made him sit at the center circle while his teammates had to run sprints because of his tardiness. A lot of sprints. So many sprints that it started to resemble Timo Cruz and Coach Carter. So Halliburton was never late after that. And even though Coach Shade once called him the worst freshman he'd ever coached, Halliburton never gave up on his dream. Because all he ever wanted...
Like, what type of, like, I don't like coaches like that. Like, it's okay to tell him, like, hey, bro, you're not good enough here. Just get better over the summer, then come back. That's all you got to tell him. To tell him that he's one of the worst freshmen that you ever had is completely disrespectful, in my opinion. As a coach, especially as a coach. Like, come on now. You gotta be better.
Wanted in life was to become an NBA player. He trained like crazy, while all others around him told him it was impossible.
Man, we had a legendary coach in our high school, Coach Shady. He retired going into my senior year, but he was the coach there for like 30, 40 years. And we had, kids camp. I went there since I was 6 years old. So doing ball handling drills, then we would play, we do shooting drills. I do that every morning, every summer, from when I was 6 years old to when I was like 16.
Fast forward 3 years, and Halliburton was a high school junior, leading Oshkosh North High to an undefeated regular season record. But in the state quarterfinals, per his own admission, Halliburton choked, and their season was over.
Oshkosh North falls 76-61.
But next year, Tyrese came back with a vengeance. As a senior, he averaged 22.9 points, 6.2 assists, 5.1 rebounds, 3.5 steals, and 1.7 blocks per game, leading Oshkosh North to a 26-1 record and the first state championship in the school's history, with 30 points in the finals, including 18 for 18 from the free throw line. And despite his clutch shooting and a championship, Hallie still wasn't on the national radar. Nobody paid attention to some small-town player from North Wisconsin. But after they saw him play live once, the coaches from Iowa State knew that Halliburton was special. But what was unique about Tyrese wasn't just high basketball IQ, crisp passes, a 6'5" frame, or the long 6'8" wingspan. The first thing that strikes people about Tyrese is his ability to interact with anyone, his charisma. He could shoot, he could pass, but it was so much more than his basketball ability. I watched his mannerisms, I watched his personality, I watched his communication. I even watched the way he interacted with the refs. He was talking with them, but he wasn't pissing them off. He almost had a bond with them. Then he was off talking with his teammates or his coaches. He just had such a presence.
The head coach's name is Coach Prom. I have a real good relationship with him. He's produced 3 NBA guards, and he sees a lot of potential in me. And when a guy like that says he sees potential in you, it's an opportunity you can't pass up.
As a freshman, Tyrese was like a sponge, always ready to listen and apply what the coaches and older players were saying. And even though the raw numbers didn't jump off the page, as he only averaged 6.8 points, 3.6 assists, and 3.4 rebounds per game, there was just something about Halliburton's aura that shined through. Early on in Tyrese's freshman season, an NBA scout came to one of Iowa's practices. After it was over, the scout called over Coach Prom and asked him if he knew which player was going to get drafted the highest. The coach said that it was likely going to be Talen Horton-Tucker, who eventually ended up as...
See, man, you never know how players gonna turn out when they play in the NBA, man. Talen Horton-Tucker, he was a pretty talented player. But ever since the Lakers traded him, he ain't been the same. You ain't really been hearing about him. They even picked Talen Horton-Tucker over Caruso. Like the Lakers, I don't know what the hell. They were so fixated on big names. They got rid of Caldwell Pope and Caruso. Yo, 2 best perimeter defenders for Westbrook, who didn't fit the team. Like, I still can't believe they did that trade. And they've been downhill ever since, bro. You just never know how players gonna turn out, man. You never know.
Was the 46th pick in the 2019 draft. But to Prohm's surprise, the scouts said it would be Halliburton, even though Hallie played a total of 10 college games up to that point. Man, I've watched him all practice, the scout said. Halliburton resonates with the older guys. He listens to everything they say. He fits into everything you're doing. He takes coaching. His presence and demeanor are always positive. He always has energy. He'll be your highest draft pick. However, even though he shot the ball well as a freshman, making 52% of his shots and 43% from three, and led the Big 12 in an assist-to-turnover ratio, with some interest from the NBA, Ty knew he needed to get more aggressive, improve his body, and hunt for his own shot. As a sophomore, Hallie improved his averages to 15.2 points, 6.5 assists, 5.9 rebounds, and 2.5 steals, while shooting 50% from the field and 42% from three. However, midway through the year, Tyrese broke his wrist and then attempted to come back when he wasn't fully healed, re-injuring that wrist, which effectively ended his season. At that point, Halliburton was projected as a lottery pick. He knew he was going to get drafted and become a millionaire.
You're likely to be one of the top point guards taken in this draft. That means depending on how the lottery balls land, if they ever land, there has been a lot of chatter about you going to the New York Knicks.
And while most players would simply leave college at that point and focus on workouts to improve their draft stock, Halliburton stayed at Iowa, cheering for his team, attending every practice. And
they said that he was going to the Knicks. So what do y'all think? So if they would have had Tyrese Halliburton on the Knicks instead of Brunson, you think they would have made the finals? Let me know down in the comments. That's an interesting question.
Despite being a great teammate with high efficiency and great size for a point guard, Tyrese was once again overlooked in the 2020 NBA draft.
Halliburton, there's a guy who's ready to play right now, right? He's not 22 years old or something. He's 20. Take the dude you know is going to be really good and really good right away. I think that's Halliburton.
Halliburton was only the 12th overall pick, selected by the Sacramento Kings.
With the 12th pick in the 2020 NBA draft, the Sacramento Kings select Tyrese Halliburton from Iowa State University.
While in hindsight, he should have been the second pick.
Hey, that suit looks crazy. That suit definitely look crazy, bro. I ain't gonna fake it to you. I'm definitely not gonna fake it to you.
Behind Anthony Edwards. When he showed up to training camp, a lot of Kings staff were unimpressed with Hallie. All they saw was a skinny 185-pound kid who wasn't very athletic and had a weird shot with a very low release point. But when the season started, Halliburton silenced all the doubters. And with 41% accuracy from three, he was the best shooter on the team and one of the best in the NBA. Other than his shooting, Ty had one of the best assist-to-turnover ratios in the NBA, with 5.3 assists and just 1.6 turnovers. And even though he played with another ball-dominant guard in De'Aaron Fox, who was undoubtedly the best player on the Kings, Halliburton made good things happen when he was on the court. His feel for the game, great decision-making.
They had Halliburton and De'Aaron Fox and couldn't make that work. The Kings got a bad history, bro. I don't know what's wrong with them. They ain't been good since Mike Bibby, Chris Webber, Brad Miller, all them guys. And they, man, I don't know what decisions they've been making as a franchise, bro, when it comes to drafting players, man, because, yeah.
Pushing the pace and timely shots made the Kings better when he played, which is not common for a rookie. Tyrese averaged 13 points, 3 rebounds, 5.3 assists, and 1.3 steals, finishing third in the Rookie of the Year voting behind LaMelo Ball and Anthony Edwards. As a sophomore, Halliburton improved those averages to 14.3 points and a team-high 7.4 assists. But before a January game against Philadelphia, Hallie met with Drew Hanlon, the famous NBA development coach, whose clients include Joel Embiid, Jason Tatum, Bradley Beal, Zach LaVine, and others. Hanlon wasn't exactly looking for new clients. So when he met with Halliburton, he started pressing him with gut-punching questions to see if this kid was really worth his time. How many times are you going to be an all-star? How many times will you make All-NBA first team? And while the coach could see the fire behind Halliburton's eyes and the desire to be the best he could be, one thing bothered him. The biggest thing is that you're not going to be able to do any of this stuff if you keep attempting 11 shots per game. You were number 14 in high school, so that's the number. If you want to work with me this summer, you have to shoot 14 field goal attempts tomorrow night against the Sixers. Otherwise, I'm not working with you. The next night, on January 29th, Halliburton went out and scored a career-high 38 points on 11 for 19 shooting. Not only had he accepted Hanlon's challenge, but he had dominated. Halliburton. And two have worked together ever since and talked after every game. But despite the all-around improvement from Halliburton, the Kings weren't in a good place, with a 20-35 record outside of a playoff spot.
So how old were you the last time the Kings went to the playoffs?
Gosh, I had to be about 8 years old. I mean, that's generous, about 7, 8 years old.
The Kings needed to get bigger, and since they already had a franchise point guard in Fox, it was logical to deal Halliburton, their most prized trade chip.
The Pacers and the Kings, they made a trade, and Indiana sent Domantas Sabonis, Jeremy Lamb, and Justin Holiday to Sacramento for Tyrese Halliburton, Buddy Hield, and Tristan Thompson.
At the time, it seemed like a win-win trade for both teams, but it was really Indiana who won the deal.
The Pacers clearly won this trade. Yeah. The Pacers clearly won this trade. To me, he's the guy that makes the right play every time. He gives you playmaking, he gives you shot making, he moves the ball, and he defends. And by the way, he loves basketball.
It took just 2 practices for Halliburton to completely change the way the Pacers played basketball. Outlet passes fired off faster, threes went up earlier, and the ball flew around the court, and players started cutting harder because they knew their new point guard was going to see them and get them the ball. Other than on-court cohesiveness, Halliburton's energy was infectious wherever he played, and he was a seamless leader. The guys wanted to follow him and play hard for him because he brought good vibes and was selfless on and off the court.
We gotta make it! Hey!
When the 2023 season started, the Pacers played with the 4th highest pace in the league, compared to the 20th before Halliburton's arrival. But for Tyrese, it was just the way he had always played. His father John had raised him on a steady diet of Magic Johnson.
I'm glad his pops chilled out recently, bro, because the NBA definitely got on his ass about stuff that, like what happened with Giannis Antetokounmpo, like after the game break, coming up to his face talking stuff, man. That can't happen, bro. But he kind of chilled out recently, but his son been actually balling. First 2 games, I was a little worried. I ain't gonna fake it. But third game, that was a Tyrese Halliburton game. Definitely.
And highlights, teaching his son about the power of the pass and the connection that the team had when everybody touched the basketball. He was taught that the game is an open floor, and he learned to read it with the help of a PlayStation. Honestly, a lot of my hoop knowledge and knowing how to play comes from video games. When you're playing 2K and you're on that camera angle where you can see everything ahead of you, that's how I think sometimes. While some players come to a new franchise and try to fit into their culture, Halliburton himself was the culture changer. We had a very business-like group before. There wasn't a lot of personality. They came in, they worked, but there wasn't a lot of spark. But when Hallie joined the team, everybody started coming to practices with a smile because they knew their point guard wanted to see them succeed. One of the virtues of Halliburton's game is that he genuinely wants to throw the ball ahead, to empower his teammates as creators. That's something that Tyrese realizes and a lot of guys don't. They like having the balls and like controlling things. But he sees the connection with lightning-fast ball movement, teammate engagement, and the positive impact of...
That's what happens with the James Hardens and the Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic made it to the finals, but you're not going to win no championship the way that one-dimensional, one person got the ball, pick and roll. That's not going to work. Everybody else stand around. And then people like that don't even move without the ball. I hate that, bro. You want the ball all the time, but like when you don't have the ball, what else? You're not useful. Like you can't do nothing without the ball. Like it's hard, man.
Getting the ball back alive. You've got to put good energy in the ball, put good energy into the game, and the basketball gods will reward you. I feel like most times if I kick ahead and give my teammate a chance to get downhill, it'll come back to me. In his first full season as a Pacer, Halliburton averaged 20.7 points, 10.4 assists, and 1.6 steals per game, while shooting close to 50-40-90, becoming an all-star for the first time. In December, Halliburton made a game-winning three-pointer.
Here's Tyrese, gonna go.
And finished with a then-career-high 43 points on a Pacers franchise record 10 three-pointers in a win against Miami. On March 5th, Halliburton made his second game-winning three-pointer of the season in a 125-122 win against the Bulls, finishing with 29 points and 11 assists. The next day, against the 76ers, Hallie posted his 30th double-double of the season with 39 points and 16 assists, becoming the first player in Pacers franchise history to record 30-plus points and 15-plus assists in a single game. However, despite his great play, the Pacers struggled mightily without him, with a 7-19 record sans Halliburton in the lineup. And due to the 26 games he missed and the overall youth of the roster, Indiana finished with a 35-47 record and missed the playoffs. However, for the first time in almost a decade, there was perfect clarity in how Indiana was going to play. The Pacers run because Halliburton runs. They share the ball because he shares the ball. And that's why, when they were approaching free agency, they were looking for players who can run and play fast. They drafted Jarris Walker and Ben Shepherd, signed Bruce Brown in free agency, and traded for Obi Toppin.
The Knicks are finalizing a deal to send forward Obi Toppin to the Indiana Pacers for 2 future second-round picks.
Who quickly adopted the Pacers' style of play and was the beneficiary of many lob dunks from Halliburton. And more importantly, at the 2024 trade deadline, Indiana sent Bruce Brown to Toronto for Pascal Siakam, who, like Halliburton, was made to run and was one of the most underrated stars in the NBA.
Pacers acquiring all-star forward Pascal Siakam in a trade that sends Bruce Brown, Jordan Moore, and 3 first-round picks to the Raptors.
Halliburton signed a $260 million 5-year extension with the Pacers, and in the offseason, he worked tirelessly to improve his game. And while the majority of NBA stars spent their summers on yachts, Tyrese spent nearly the entire offseason in Indiana, going to the gym, working on his game, and adding muscle to his frame. And when the 2023-24 season started, Halliburton had grown in every aspect, from improving his footwork to his shot creation and being a more dynamic scorer. And because he gained 12 pounds of muscle, Hallie became stronger and able to play through more contact. And it paid off. In the 24 regular season, Halliburton averaged 20.1 points per game and a league-leading 10.9 assists on just 2.3 turnovers. On November 14th,
he's the perfect point guard when he actually plays aggressive, bruh. The perfect point guard.
2023, Halliburton recorded a near triple-double with 33 points, 15 assists, 7 rebounds, and no turnovers in a win over the 76ers, becoming just the 5th player in NBA history to have 30-plus points, 15-plus assists, and no turnovers in a single game. On December 4th, Halliburton recorded his first career triple-double with 26 points, 10 rebounds, 13 assists, and no turnovers on a 122-112 win against the Celtics. He also joined John Stockton and Magic Johnson as the only players in NBA history to record back-to-back 20-point and 20-assist games. And the 23 assists he had against the Knicks were a franchise record.
Yes! Oh, diamond!
Halliburton also led the Pacers to the final of the inaugural NBA Cup, then known as the in-season tournament.
I think if he outplays LeBron and the Pacers win tomorrow, it certainly vaults him into the conversation of being a superstar in the NBA. And I would argue that he's probably already there.
But Indiana lost to the Lakers. Tyrese was named an All-Star for the 2nd straight year and was only 1 vote shy of winning the All-Star Game MVP. However, a far more important accomplishment happened later in the year, when he was named to the All-NBA 3rd team and was officially recognized as one of the 15 best players in the league. The Pacers played with the 2nd fastest pace in the NBA, and they led the league in points scored, field goals made, field goal percentage, and assists. Their 121 offensive rating was the 2nd best in NBA history, and led by Halliburton, the Pacers became one of the most fun teams to watch in the league. But other than fun, there was also substance. They won 47 games and made the playoffs for the first time in 4 years.
It's been an incredible experience for many Pacers fans to see their team back in the playoffs again.
And in the first round against the Bucks, Halliburton notched his first playoff triple-double in Game 3. Hallie scored 18 points with 10 rebounds and 16 assists, and made a game winner in the Pacers' 121-118 overtime win.
6 seconds to go. Crosses over on Beverly. Float game for the win! Tyrese!
The Pacers
fucked Beverly up, didn't he?
Overtime win. 6 seconds to go.
Come here, Billy. Woo.
Crosses over on Beverly.
Dang, and 1. Stop playing.
The Pacers won the series in 6 games, which was their first playoff series win in 10 years. But they weren't done yet. Despite falling 2-0 in the second round series against the Knicks, in Game 3, Halliburton dropped 35 points to lead the Pacers to victory, and the series would go to Game 7, where Tyrese showed up wearing a hoodie with the infamous Reggie Miller choke sign from the Knicks-Pacers series in 1994. But trash talking only works if you can back it up, and Tyrese did exactly that. He scored a team-high 26 points on 10 for 17 shooting, including 6 threes, to lead Indiana to victory as they shot the highest field goal percentage in NBA playoff history.
Come on! Yes! Yes!
Unfortunately, in the second game of the conference finals against the Celtics, Halliburton injured his hamstring and was ruled out for the series, which ended with the Pacers getting swept. But Halliburton got healthy for the summer, where he was selected to represent Team USA at the 2024 Paris Olympics.
How you doing? You good? Good. I'm here on behalf of USA Basketball. I want to formally
I'm still mad at USA for not playing Jason Tatum, bro. You want to play Derek White and Drew Holiday over Jason Tatum? Like, that was crazy. And we almost lost that cup, too.
Oh, wow.
When the Team USA roster gathered in early July for its first meeting, Coach Steve Kerr looked around the conference room and said he saw 12 future Hall of Famers. And even though he barely played at the Olympics, appearing in just 3 games for a total of 26 minutes, Halliburton's spirit was the same as it always was: fun, upbeat, and ready to cheer on his teammates. However, despite winning gold at the Olympics and coming off an all-NBA season, Halliburton struggled at the start of the 2025 season. Hallie averaged 15.3 points while shooting just 37% from the field and 28% from three-point territory through his first 15 appearances. And the Pacers opened the season with a 10-15 record in the first 2 months. And it took them until January 6th to finally get over 500. Indiana was still terrorizing teams in transition, but they encountered problems in the half court when the opponents adjusted to the pace and played switch-heavy defense. Teams started going under screens for Halliburton, denying his teammates, and daring the pass-first point guard to beat them as a scorer. And even though Halliburton was always an efficient shooter, you could sense a reluctance in his pull-up jumpers, since being a first option wasn't his natural instinct. I got too caught up in outside noise and allowing myself to think such negative thoughts about myself internally. It was the first time in my life that I had real self-doubt behind everything I was doing. I feel like my personal struggles were leading to the team's struggles. A lot of our games early that we were right there to win, I just wasn't playing my best basketball. And I think that was taking away from us winning games. However, right around Christmas, things started to turn around. The Pacers had a 40-17 record from December until the last game of the season, and Halliburton's aggression and efficiency improved drastically. For the season, he averaged 18.6 points and 9.2 assists, the third best mark in the league, with a 58% effective field goal percentage, which, for example, was higher than Steph Curry's EFG in 2025. Tyrese committed just 1.6 turnovers per game, and he led the NBA in assist-to-turnover ratio, with 5.6 assists per every turnover. And even though he wasn't named to the All-Star team after a poor start to the season, Halliburton received another All-NBA third-team selection. But then, the playoffs started.
So, y'all, good morning. Happy playoffs.
And Halliburton went on a clutch shooting run that we have never seen before. In the first round against the Bucks, Indy jumped to a 3-1 series lead. And in Game 5, Halliburton recorded 26 points, 5 rebounds, 9 assists, 3 steals, and 3 blocks, including the game-tying layup that sent the game to overtime. But in OT, it seemed like the Bucks had the game wrapped up, holding a 7-point lead with 35 seconds to go. And then Nembhard hit a 3, the Bucks turned the ball over twice, and Halliburton made 2 clutch layups to win the game and the series. And in the second round against the #1 seeded Cavaliers, the Pacers continued to defy the odds and pull out miracle victories. After the Pacers won Game 2, it looked like the Cavaliers would tie the series, as they had a 14-point lead after 3 quarters.
Massive shot for the Pacers.
And that reminds me too, for the Cavs to lose like that against the Indiana Pacers in the playoffs after you had the best record the whole season, like you was hyping it up, like, hey, this might be our year without LeBron, and you lay egg like that. I ain't gonna lie, that did piss me off. I ain't gonna fake it.
And led by 7 with only 1 minute left to play. But then it was Halliburton time. The Pacers point guard scored 6 points in the final minute, including a crazy 3-pointer for the win. The Cavs never recovered after that loss, and Indiana won the series in 5 games to advance to their second consecutive conference finals.
Congratulations. Keep believing. You guys are 8 wins away from an NBA championship.
However, despite having several crazy comebacks in the playoffs, the craziest was yet to come. In Game 1 of the conference finals against the Knicks in Madison Square Garden, New York had a 14-point lead with 2:51 left to play. The Knicks' win probability at that moment was 100%, and those odds were calculated.
I know we talked about this in the past. 14 points in 2 minutes, 9 points in 1 minute, and you lose the game? No.
With the fact that we have never seen an opponent rally back from that kind of deficit in the NBA playoffs before. With 40 seconds left on the clock, Karl Anthony Towns made a layup that extended New York's lead to 8, giving the Knicks a win probability of 99.9%. But then, Aaron Nesmith continued to torch the Knicks, finishing with 20 points in the fourth quarter on 6 for 7 shooting from 3.
Nesmith, it's a 3. It's a 2-point game. Oh my goodness. It's a 2-point game.
His unbelievable heat check and several Knicks mistakes gave the Pacers a chance as they trailed by 2 with 7 seconds to go. Halliburton once again took the ball into his hands, and what happened next was crazy.
He'll backpedal a 3 for the win, and goal! He got it!
Do you know how crazy it is? Like, I'm sorry about keep pausing it, but do you know how crazy it is to beat your defender to the mid-range? Don't even take the mid-range, risking it, going back to the three-point line and shooting a shot for the game? You know how risky that is? That's some clutch ass shit. I ain't gonna fake it. That is some clutch stuff, bruh.
To go. Halliburton once again took the ball into his hands, and what happened next was crazy.
He'll backpedal a 3 for the win, and goal! He got it!
Despite throwing the choke sign too soon and the game going to overtime, Halliburton's and the Pacers' confidence never wavered. With 35 seconds to go and the Knicks up by 1, Hallie threw a perfect pass to Nebhard to give Indiana a 1-point lead. After another New York turnover, Obi Toppin's dunk pushed Indiana's lead to 3, and they eventually won 138-135. Halliburton finished the game with a team-high 31 points, 11 assists, and just 2 turnovers. The Pacers were plus 15 in his 43 minutes, thriving on Halliburton's ability to control the game's rhythm, push the pace, and make correct decisions to punish the Knicks' switching defense. Indiana won Game 2 in New York as well, behind 39 points from Pascal Siakam, and the Knicks responded in Game 3, winning 106-100 in Indianapolis.
I just always feel like the Knicks still have a chance, and they're 6-1 on the road. I have to keep going back to that. Like, they're 6 on the road. They know how to win on the road. Yes, it may be ugly, and yes, they may have to go down 21st to wake up, but they have a great chance of winning the series.
But then, in Game 4, Halliburton had one of the greatest ever performances from an NBA point guard. Tyrese scored 32 points with 12 rebounds, 15 assists, 5 three-pointers, 4 steals, and 0 turnovers in a 130-121 win, which increased the series lead to 3-1.
You can't play point guard under the circumstances with what's at stake better than Tyrese Halliburton played that position tonight.
He became the first player in playoff history to achieve 30-plus points, 10-plus rebounds, and 15-plus assists with 0 turnovers. But this isn't surprising anymore. Game 4 was a masterclass, with Halliburton's 11th career game with 15 assists and 0 turnovers, trailing only John Stockton and Chris Paul, who have more such games. And despite New York extending the series with a Game 5 win, in Game 6, the Pacers finished the job, making their first trip to the finals since Reggie Miller did it in 2000. In the conference finals, Halliburton averaged 21 points, 10.5 assists, and 2.5 steals, 1 vote shy of winning the ECF MVP. Halliburton's game has traces of Magic Johnson, Steve Nash, and Jason Kidd in the way he pushes the pace, controls the game, and makes. Halliburton averaged 21 points, 10.5 assists, and 2.5 steals, 1 vote shy of winning the ECF MVP. Halliburton's game has.
He should have won the MVP award in the conference finals over Pascal Siakam. Siakam was probably more consistent that whole series, but I feel like the games that they won, he had the most impact. When you can have the most impact without scoring the basketball, you dangerous. And I feel like he should have won an MVP in the conference.
Traces of Magic Johnson, Steve Nash, and Jason Kidd in the way he pushes the pace, controls the game, and makes everyone around him better. And even though his jump shot is still weird and his overall game is unorthodox, with more jump passes than anyone else in the NBA, it's safe to say that Halliburton's one of the best point guards in the league, and that he's likely going to stay that way for the next decade, since he's still only 25 years old. Not bad for someone who's overrated. Thank you for watching. And if you like this one, we have another video for you.
Yes, sir, man. Yeah, man. Can nobody say he's overrated anymore? He's one of the best point guards in the league. He's on the rise of becoming a superstar, in my opinion. And he's currently two games away to win the finals. So this man is winning. You can't handle this man no more. This man been hated on since high school. Before high school, coaches telling him that he don't deserve to be on my team and all that type of stuff. Not in them exact words, but they was disrespectful to this man throughout his whole high school, college, and part of his NBA career. Like his peers calling him overrated. Like it was ridiculous, bruh. Now, y'all gotta get that man his credit. Shout out to Tyrese Halliburton, man. Keep doing your thing. I appreciate y'all for watching this video, man. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Comment down below stuff that you want me to react to. Turn on post notifications to be alerted when I post new videos. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. And I'm gonna see y'all next time. Let's get it. Peace.